hello everyone, and welcome to this video. Now, in this video, I have a bit of an announcement to make. Now, this announcement involves my radio, radio presenting. Now, for the past few years, I've been broadcasting on various radio stations. You'll have seen me on World's Awakening Radio, station founded by mostly people who are blind or partially sighted. I was with Worlds for about a year, just under a year and a half. A year and 5 months. Then I went over to Anchor Radio, which was, again founded by people who are blind or partially sighted. And, Anchor Radio had a, their USP was, mental health and spirituality. So, went quite well over there. Also, at the side of this, from about January 2023, I was doing shows for my local community station, Shmoo FM. And I really enjoyed that. More recently, though, I've been with a Welsh station called Cambrian Radio, which is online. And but recently, because of due to personal circumstances going on in my life, I've actually taken a bit of a step back from Shmoo FM. And this brings me on to the subject of my announcement, because I've also decided to take a step. I've also decided to actually leave Cambrian Radio. Now, there's not anything, about this. I just kind of felt that I needed something that was, kind of fit me a wee bit better. Now, Cambrian is really good, so definitely urge people to listen, cambrianradio.co.uk. Definitely if you're into your soul, and things like that, it's, it had its beginnings in soul music, although there are other genres on there. So, and there's a few great personalities on there as well. So definitely take a wee peek at it, or a wee listen to it. But where does that leave me? Well, this is not the end of my broadcasting, because I've decided to go back, right the way back, all the way back to where my broadcasting online began. Well, I'm heading back to Rockin Waves, to my alma mater. Some of you will know, some of you will have seen that I used to broadcast on there back in 2013. I, did a show back at the day called Drawing the Weekend to a Close. It was a 3-hour show, 9 till 12, and Chris was very accommodating with that. Chris Master One, Chris Rogers. And you'll have seen Chris in some of Billy's YouTube videos, by the way. In fact, it was Billy, the nostalgia mole, that put me in touch with him. So Chris is our Chris is he's run Rockin Waves since, I believe, 2008? I think it's 2008. But last night was the 15th anniversary of the Friday Night Renegade show, actually. So we got to hear the original Friday Night Renegade show, which was actually on WGUR, and not on Rockin Waves, actually. But yeah, wow, that was That was a bit of a blast. But no, I used to listen to Rockin Waves quite often, and my favourite show was the midweek survey show, which would be, one of the, it would be the cornerstone of Wednesday night during the Summer of Rock season, certainly in 2012. But I joined in 2013, with Drawing the Weekend to a close. Then I had to move. Some of you will remember I moved at the back end of 2013. So, because I was without broadband, I couldn't actually go on as much. I did a late Christmas show on January the 5th, broadcasting from my friend's house in Hull. And then I don't think I did anything until the night of the referendum, the Scottish independence referendum. So that was the 18th to the 19th of September. But I'm going to be honest, I about bawled it because, the results were coming in thick and fast and it was coming down in favour of no. And yeah, I still support Scottish independence quite a lot. And, especially now with what's happening, in the UK, the fact that, well, to be honest, it doesn't surprise me, but the fact that the Labour government care about as much about disabled people as the Conservatives do. But not only that, we've got the Online Safety Act, which is just, I don't know, it's quite dangerous, actually. Quite dangerous precedent. So it's been a while since I've sat down and chatted organically about current events that are going on. I know I used to do it in the 2010s quite a bit, and I used to, supplement that with some gameplay footage just to, keep things interesting. But, since I last did that, there's a lot that's happened in the world. And, not just the fallout from the pandemic, but, if you keep your eye on the news at all, you'll know what's going on in 2025. Not just wars, but there's a lot of political unrest. There's the cost of living, and it's all really not great. And I don't like a lot of what's going on, so it's just not the greatest. But then I've not actually been feeling that great myself either, so I've not put out as much content either. So I'm uploading sporadically at best. For that I do apologise. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think things used to be simpler about 10 years ago. But I think I've just remembered the point that I was coming to. I've done so many takes of this particular part of the conversation now that I completely forgot the point I was trying to make. But no, with everything going on, and especially, the way the UK have decided to involve themselves, or the way that they've reacted to it, I'm still very much in support of Scottish independence, and that's was the last time I broadcasted on Rockin Waves was actual referendum night. And obviously, depending on what station you're on, you can't actually be seen to be supporting one side politically. And that's something that I've had to learn to do on the radio is to separate my political self from my presenter persona. Obviously, I still joke about a wee bit. Anyone who's heard me on the radio will know my now infamous sign off of wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you are in the UK or Scotland, have a wonderful whatever time of day it is. So do a show at night, have a wonderful evening. I'll be back at the same time next week with watching my show. But until then, please do stay tuned. We've got lots of great content coming up for you, and see you all soon. Cheery bye. You know, I mean, there's that, but I mean, it's not. I mean, it's more nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and there's, you know, certain times when I've had to even retire that. So that is honestly a thing that, you know, I've had to learn how to do, which you'd not think it, actually, knowing me, that I could actually do that, because it surprises me that I can separate my political self from, you know, what I present out while on the air. So this brings me on to the meat and totties of this video, which will probably only take a minute or two. But I wanted to introduce you to my home setup. To do that, I think I'll have to take you off the tripod for at least some of it. So this is what we have on screen, is a piece of software called Station Playlist Studio. It's by a small outfit called Station Playlist, and it's actually based on, of all things, Winamp. Because those who remember using Winamp knows that they will know that it was highly customizable, and, you know, you could add plugins to make it do pretty much whatever you wanted. And this is, I think, essentially what it is. It's basically Winamp, but with all the plugins needed to, and you can add plugins to SPL as well, but plugins needed to make it so that you can, you know, present a show. So I have a playlist in here. You know, I can. This was the playlist from my last show on Cambrian Radio. So I've got you know, a couple of jingles, and then I can go into the first song. So I can, you know, I could play this thing, and, you know, there it is. It's playing now. You're not going to hear it because it's programmed to play through a pair of headphones. Now, the headphones that I use for this are wireless ones. If there is any latency, it's not enough that it affects what I'm playing. So, well, so I can play a song or a jingle. I can then press, you know, put a tick in the box next to the next song, so it'll just go in automatically. So once this song is finished playing, it will start playing the next song, which would be Marty Robbins' El Paso, in the case of this. You also have, you know, you can key in a microphone. Now, the microphone I'm using is a Samson Q2U. It's connected via USB. I would like to connect it via XLR to a sound desk, actually, at some point. So I do have a Behringer sound desk, so whether I use that or whether I get something a bit different so I can have more fader controls over things, that would be quite nice. Look, this is actually now finishing up the song, and there you go, it's now playing El Paso. So if I put my wireless headphones on, I would then be able to hear Marty Robbins singing about a cowboy in El Paso who meets an enchanting woman called Felina, who used to dance in Rose's Cantina. Anyway, I've got cart farms or cart stacks here, so, you know, I've got my jingles on them, so, you know, I could just hit a button, it'll play a jingle, and once I'm done playing the music, I've even got a talk bed, or, you know, there can be assigned to function keys on the keyboard. So tomorrow night when I go on, well, it's the 4th of September at the time of recording. Blooming... His MSI Center wrecked it. I can't use the blooming keys again. So I can do that, and a talk bed will come on. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Can't use a blooming keyboard anymore for controlling things. And that kind of brings me on to one of the down points about SPL, is that a few people with MSI motherboards are, well, basically anything that needs MSI Center to run, and I like to have it installed just to keep an eye on things like temps or what have you, or if I wanted to control the RGB. I don't use any of the optimization features. It's snake oil, or it wants to overclock the CPU or something scary. I don't want that. But any machine with MSI Center, you're going to get this. And I mean, that's fine if you can use a mouse, but if you can't, yeah, it's a bit difficult. And to be honest, someone I know has actually been in contact with Station Playlist, with the people at Station Playlist, and it's not really, it's not really kind of, nothing has come out of that. That interaction was not actually that fruitful. So there's a new version due in the autumn, so I'll get that, and when I do, obviously I'll do some testing with it and see how it goes. But yeah, no, it's I mean, it works, broadcast many shows from it, but it can also fail quite badly as well. So, but then Windows itself can fail quite badly. And SPL, I mean, I keep using it because it's not a bad piece. When it works, it's the feature set that it has, the fact that it will count you down, like in terms of songs. So if I play the Lauren Green song, it'll count down. But I also get a nice, well, I've got a clock that's counting up the way, saying what the time is, but also one that's counting down to the top of the hour, which is perfect when I'm trying to come off at the top of the hour, because then I can calculate how much song do I have left versus how much hour do I have left. And that could really help me just be able to time it so that I can come off cleanly, or, do I need to, or I can work out whether I can fit another song in, or whether I just need to make my length longer, or whatever it is that I need to do. So it's quite useful to have that, and then pressing the M button. So, stop that, start that, and then you can go and do a length. Anyway, that's SPL. But that's not the only way I broadcast. So, if I want to do mixing, then I don't actually use Windows. So now we are on to the second computer. And as you can possibly see, the second computer is in fact a Mac. I've got to say, I do quite like the Mac. So what I tend to do with this show or this setup is I tend to mix. So not only do I have this interface, I have this wee piece of kit here. This is a Pioneer DDJ-FLX4. Now, I got a chance to use one of these back in March. Actually, I was covering for Josh, who at the time had a show called The Pick and Mix, and it was Josh who let me use his one of these, and I decided it would be a good idea, if I was going to be mixing more regularly, to have one of these myself. Now, it's a DJ controller. It's a software. It's not a software. So it uses a MIDI standard, connects over USB-C actually, to my laptop, and essentially what I can do is, well, I can mix with it.
From Scotland to the dance floor, from the Ceilidh to the club, this is the Flying Scotsman, mixing the best dance and trance. Bring the euphoria.
Now, at the moment, this has been set up to, preview it out of my MacBook speakers, but when I broadcast for real, which I do using Audio Hijack, I will actually once again put on a pair of headphones, and then I'll be able to just broadcast. Again, I'm using the Q2U microphone because that's plugged into the KVM, so whenever I switch from PC to Mac, the Q2U goes with me. The headphones now, the wireless headphones, I do need to get a cable between this and those. Well, to the base station at least. Yeah, I know. Cable, wireless, never mind. I'm not actually going to show you mixing because, I could just put a couple of songs in here and then I'd have to mute it because otherwise, it doesn't very much like it. They don't very much like it when you start trying to mix. Well, they don't very much like it when you start trying to play copyrighted music on YouTube videos, so I'm not going to. But using this, yes, you can use this piece of software with a mouse. So, if I was away somewhere and all I had was my laptop, then yes, I could do a mix. Is it better to use real physical controls that you can touch and feel and interact with? Absolutely it is. Oh, once I'd actually got myself this, once I'd had a shot of Josh's, I never, ever, ever wanted to go back, honestly. So that is what I'm using there. Mixing? Am I mixing on Rockin Waves? Don't think so. The show that's going to be on Rockin Waves will be Back to the Hits. That'll broadcast 3 till 5 p.m. Eastern time, because of course that's based in the Eastern time zone, Eastern time in America. But it will be 8 till 10 over here in Scotland most weeks until the clocks go backwards and forwards, because there's now disparity between when the US do it and when we do it. Yeah, thanks. But I do sometimes mix for my own Mixcloud, or I have mixed for I've done mixes for Worlds, I've done mixes for Anchor, and I've done mixes just because sometimes it's nice just to have a play about with it, I think. And yeah, very much enjoyed doing that. But yeah, this is a wee whistle stop of my setup. But I'm looking forward to going on. So whenever this video goes out, I will say that my debut is Friday, September the 5th, 2025. At 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. And Back to the Hits, if you want to know a bit about the show, usually the first hour is 1980s, second hour is 1990s, and in and among the second hour, I get to bring out one of my favourite features, which is the Flying Scotsman's Arcade. And in the Flying Scotsman's Arcade, I'll talk about a game that came out on or around this day in the 80s or 90s, a game or a console or technology that came out on this day or around this date in the 80s or 90s, and just do a wee review of it from GameFAQs.com. So, with that said, I'd like to say thank you all for watching this video, and please do join me for my next one. Cheery bye. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. You could also subscribe to the channel and hit the wee bell icon to be notified when I have published a new video. But until then, please feel free to check out some of my previous videos.